And we are back, everybody. This is From the Pocket coming at you on a Monday. We have a week and a half until the NFL draft is here. That means we only got a few more episodes to get you ready. So without further ado, this is one that I have been waiting a long time for. Been very excited about it. Had a lot of homework to do before we got here, but I am deep enough in the film study, in the research, in the scouting. Feels weird to call it that, but it is kind of what it is. Of these players to where I can finally come and give my top gems of this draft. Players that, not necessarily the blue chip guys. Like my favorite player in this draft, for example, is Sonny Styles. Not talking about Sonny Styles today. Caleb Downs is amazing. Not talking about Caleb Downs today. We're talking about the guys that kind of are going to start going off that board maybe in the later part of the first half. A lot of day 2 guys, a couple day 3 guys. So very excited about this one. Really me just kind of planting my flag on some of these dudes. Before we get started, I did want to kind of just talk about again the next couple weeks. Thursday's episode, very special. We're going to have Christian back on the podcast. And he is a man who is busy. He is a man who takes the offseason and actually does what you're supposed to do in the offseason. He relaxes a little bit. So we're going to catch him up on the draft on Thursday. If you know somebody who maybe doesn't follow the draft very, very closely, but they still want to kind of be semi-prepared going into it, I think that episode is going to be very informative. It's not going to be a deep cut, not going to be something that I think a lot of sickos like me would maybe listen to, but I'm going to give some takes in it, and I think it's a really good just primer on what this draft is big picture. So keep an eye out for that. And then the following Monday after that, we are talking mock drafts. I'm going through. What I might honestly do is, because I've decided to not record a live stream for Thursday for the draft itself. So what I might do is that Monday episode, I might give my mock draft, like what I would do. And then on Thursday, I might give what I think the players, like my predictive draft, what I think that will actually happen. So a couple of options, but just keep an eye out. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I think I have like a dozen players here that I wanted to talk about. So I'm just going to start talking about them and making my way through the list. This is really in not a particular order. I've grouped them based off of just when I think they could go. So a lot of the first players I'm going to talk about are probably players that lean more in the first round. But to be honest, I think the bulk of this list is guys that are probably going to get taken in day 2, and then a couple day 3. So wouldn't be surprised if maybe 3 of these guys or so, maybe 4, got picked in round 1. So we'll go ahead and get started. First one up, Keldrick Falk. I love Keldrick Falk. I think Keldrick Falk, he's one of those players, and I feel like there's a few players like this, and I'm going to talk about a few of them on this list, but really quick, Keldrick Falk, an edge rusher out of Auburn. I feel like with Keldrick Falk, there's almost like this. Yeah, he's really good. He's really good at a lot of things, but it's kind of almost hand-waved. Like, he's treated, is he a Ruben Bain, a David Bailey, an Arvell Reese level defender? No, but he is, I think, a very, very exceptional prospect in a lot of ways. He has great size, speed, athleticism. He has those traits that I think a lot of people love to be able to get their hands on and mold. He's a great edge setter. He is really, really good against the run. He's also only 20 years old. I think he's the youngest player in this draft. And on top of that, I mean, despite being very young, despite already being pretty developed in a lot of ways and having those traits, he is a total locker room guy. Everybody who's talked about him at Auburn talks about how much of a leader he is in that locker room at only 20 years old. The one downside with him, and I get it, is his pass rush is not very developed. And if I told you you could make him into a great edge rusher, I'd probably be guessing, because I don't really think there's enough there to say like, oh, he has the potential to do this. And I get it. Like, if I'm picking a pass rusher or an edge rusher, in the mid to early first round. Like, I want a guy that can get the quarterback ultimately. Like, that's what it is. You want some guys that don't have to do that. You kind of want to balance, but like, you want them to be able to do that, and that's just not his strength. He does a lot of other things well, but not that. So I understand why he might slip and why he is being positioned under a David Bailey, a Ruben Bain, and Arvell Reese. But like, I really, really love Kevin Falk. I am confident he can develop a more well-rounded game. He's already well-rounded as it is. And again, he is so young. He has all the tangible and intangible traits. So I am a huge fan of Keldrick Falk, and I expect him to go mid-first round. I expect somebody to take him maybe earlier than we expect. Okay, moving on. I want to talk about Omar Cooper Jr., another player that, again, like, I feel like Omar Cooper Jr. early on in this process was not really talked about that much. Like Daniel Jeremiah, when he released his first top 50, I don't even think Omar Cooper Jr. was on it. And then he got to Omar Cooper Jr.'s tape and was like, oh, this is like one of the best players in the draft, number 19 or something like that. And I feel like I've seen that where a lot of people did not have Omar Cooper Jr. initially on their list. Now he's pretty unanimously seen as like the fourth or fifth best receiver in this draft. I think most people have him under the Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon class. Some people might prefer Denzel Boston, but I mean, he is right in that tier. And I know some people, I mean, I think that franchise guy has him at even like number 2 or something. So he is, I really, really do like Omar Cooper Jr. He is dangerous after the run. He can make tough catches. He is very productive. I mean, he just checks a lot of the boxes that like you would want. He's just a well-rounded receiver. I'm not saying he can be a number 1. I know some people who love him are confident he can be. But like, if I had Omar Cooper Jr. as my number 2, and to be honest, in the area he is getting drafted, that is going to be what he is asked to do, because a lot of those teams in that back half of the draft where he very well might go, they're looking for that number 2. They already have a number 1. So I think Omar Cooper Jr. goes to the right spot, can be productive. The attention doesn't have to be on him at the NFL level. I think you have somebody who could very well surprise a lot of people. So I'm a big fan of Omar Cooper Jr. Next on my list, I'm going to go with Akeem Mesidor. I won't spend too much time on Akeem Mesidor. Look, Akeem Mesidor, I am a little split on, because you watch the tape, you know, Florida, edge rusher, played next to Ruben Bain, got to play under Jason Taylor, who was coaching him up. If you don't know who Jason Taylor is, he's a Hall of Fame defensive lineman. He is fundamentally sound. He's a menace. Like, I really do like Akeem Mesidor, and every time I turn on his tape, I love it. And then that thing creeps in my head where I know, dude's 25. Dude's 25. He is old. He is old for the draft. And I understand that that's going to scare a lot of people off, and maybe it should. You know, there's not a great history of taking players that old. And what you see from Akeem Mesidor is what you're going to get. At 25, you're not really, I don't think he's going to develop his game very much beyond what he is doing now. So I understand that might scare some people off. I'm a Cowboys fan. If the Cowboys took him at 20, I might be a little nervous. Like, I might be like, okay, really, like Akeem Mesidor? Because, like, he is a really solid player, high floor, which I think is kind of a reoccurring theme for a lot of the players in this draft, just high floors. But, I mean, how high is that ceiling? It's not going to be much higher. This is not Keldrick Falk, who is going to be on his 3rd contract at the age of 28 years old. Like, this is a guy that is pretty much at his ceiling. So I understand the hesitation, but every time I watch that tape, I'm like, dang, this guy's awesome. And I understand, you know, Florida's defense was really good, and he did have help with the fact that he didn't have that, he has Ruben Bain on the other side of him. Like, I understand, or I've been saying Florida. I apologize. It's Miami. I don't know why I keep saying Florida. It's Miami University. You know it. Everybody knows that. But I digress. You know, he has Ruben Bain playing with him, so, like, I understand that that's going to make his job probably a little easier, but I really like Akeem Mesidor. I'm not saying he's a 1 on a defensive line, but, like, I think he is going to make anybody's rotation better. I think if you have him as your second best defensive lineman, you're in pretty decent shape. And if he's your third, I think you're doing really, really well. So I am a big fan of Akeem Messidor. And again, I don't know where I would have him go. You know, I think he'll probably go late in the in the first round if I had to guess. And, you know, the injury history could knock him down a little bit, but like I just he's a well-rounded player. Like, he plays 3 downs. He does everything you want him to do. So I like Akeem Messidor. Okay. Next, this is a player I really love. I think early on he was kind of one of my guys, quote unquote, but I don't know if I would put him on that list anymore. But I really do like him, and he's kind of on that edge. Colton Hood. Colton Hood out of Tennessee obviously had to step up because Jermon McCoy did not play a lot last year, but big fan of Colton Hood. I think, and you'll hear me say this probably 2 times today, I would not be surprised if we look up 5 years from now and Colton Hood turns out to be the best corner in this draft class. He has the potential to do that. I love his frame, his size, his speed. He plays so aggressively. He's really solid in the run game. I know he gives up some tackles, but like the effort is there. And to be honest, like I'm not super worried if my corners are a little bit of a liability in the run game. It's not really what I want them to do. I want them to be able to cover. But I am a little nervous about, he is a little undisciplined. You know, he gets pretty handsy when he gets beat, and he is very aggressive in how he plays coverage, and that can cause him to sometimes get baited on like certain routes, on double move routes and things like that. So, you know, that element does worry me. I'm kind of betting that like in the right situation, which, I mean, it seems by all accounts he is going to go, if he goes in the first, it'll be later in the first. So like if he lands with a Seattle, I would do not be surprised if Colton Hood just totally ascends. I mean, playing across from Devin Witherspoon in a secondary and on a defense that's going to know how to utilize him and coach him up correctly and get those fundamentals cleaned up. I love the idea of Colton Hood doing that, and I think Colton Hood could very well end up being, again, maybe the best corner that comes out of this draft class. It could be just a factor of like where he lands, but he has that potential. I love a lot of what I see from Colton Hood. All right. This guy. This is one of my guys. I love this guy. Maxi Honachor. Maxi Honachor, lineman. I cannot get enough of Maxi Honachor. He is just a menace, dude. He is so good. And, you know, full disclosure here, he's not only young, right? He's like average age for the draft. He's like 22, but he only has played football for like 4 years. He is from Nigeria and had not played football until he stepped onto a college campus. And I mean, he is so athletic. He is 6'5". He ran a sub 540. He is large. He just checks so many boxes physically. He is so strong. He is so fast for his size. He's fluid. I mean, you just watch him like in his footwork. Like, it's not just that he's fast. He is fluid in how he moves, and he moves laterally very, very well. He has very fast hands. Like, there are so many things to love about him. And you're telling me like, yeah, I mean, he's a little bit raw, right? Some of the technique and the fundamentals need to be cleaned up, but like, again, that's fine. Like, he's only played football for 4 years, and I understand that may cause him to go in the back half of the draft, and I think for him, his ideal is he gets to, like, redshirt a year. I think somewhere like Philadelphia would be the perfect place for him to land. Like, I know they don't have Jeff Stoutland anymore, but him getting to sit behind a Lane Johnson and kind of be Lane Johnson's heir apparent, and you have, you know, Jordan Mailata on the other side. I mean, also, Lane Johnson missed time last year, so you know, it also kind of protects you in terms of depth. I think them landing Maxi Honachor, I think that would be a phenomenal get for them. I really, like, genuinely, I understand that people might look at him and say, I can't draft a guy in round 1 that I can't play in 2026. Like, I can't do that. But I'm calling it. I think Maxi Honitor is going to be one of the 5 best either left or right tackles wherever they decide to put him in the next 5 years or so. I genuinely think this guy is going to be an all-pro at the NFL level. I love so much about this guy. And I know some people might say, well, you don't know if he can ever reach that ceiling, though. He has the physical tools. He has shown promise. And I get that. But I feel like we have seen enough from him on his year-to-year improvement that I think I'm pretty confident that he is going to continue to ascend. And I think you're going to get just a more and more fundamentally sound player who is matching with just that dominant physical aspect. So, yeah, I am a huge fan of Maxi Honitor, and I would love it if my team took him personally. I love him. I love him. He's one of my guys. And to be totally real, I'm sorry, just one more thing. Like, we're talking about like a Monroe Freeling. I know Monroe Freeling is like a little more clean than a Maxi Honitor, but it's mind-boggling to me that like everybody kind of has the same opinion about Monroe Freeling, where they're like, yeah, he could probably use another year in college. Anyway, yeah, the Browns might take him at 6. And it's like, what? Like, how is Maxi Honitor going at the end of the first round, early second round, and needing a redshirt year? Like, he's not that far behind Monroe Freeling fundamentally. I don't think he is. I would rather have Maxi Honitor than Monroe Freeling, no matter where I'm taking him in the first round. So I don't really understand that, but like that just, again, if you think I'm giving him too much respect, it is what it is, but that's how I feel about Maxi Honitor. Okay. I'm going to give you another one of my guys. All right, we're going to continue that trend. This is another one of my guys, guy I love, AJ Halsey. AJ Halsey. When I first started looking into AJ Halsey, I was a little scared because his measurements are not amazing. He's a little small, and I kind of understand the hesitation around like why some people, might have him lower. But then I see this guy play. I saw this guy. This guy is a menace on the football field. Maybe sometimes it goes against him. I know sometimes at LSU, if you're an LSU fan, you might have been kind of upset at some of what he did because he is ballsy. He is bold. He is going to go out there and he's going to try to make plays. He's from Houston, represent. But he is just a playmaker. He can make plays in the pass game. He is a ball hawk. He has great instincts. I think he's real. I mean, does he struggle sometimes in the run game just because of his size and physical nature? Yes, but I still think he makes plays in the run game too. I think he needs to get into a system that's going to clean him up. But I think if he does that, you could have a really high-end safety on your hands. And to be totally real, depending on who gets him and depending on what they do, if somebody takes AJ Halsey and they make him kind of that deep back safety who also comes up in the robber spot in the middle, I genuinely think he's going to be one of the best safeties in the NFL. I genuinely do. And I had that kind of thought, and I heard Trevor Sikkema say something to the effect of like, he thinks in the right system he could be an all-pro player. I totally agree. Like, I think he does so many things I love, and I understand he doesn't do everything amazing. He's not super versatile in the sense that like he can also go be like a Nicky Manwari and go play in the nickel. Like, he's not somebody you can play in the nickel. He's not somebody you should put on man coverage. He is somebody that you should let kind of roam the middle to the deep end of the field, come up and make some plays and be a ball hawk for you. And if you do that, I think he genuinely could end up being one of the best safeties in the league. I love so much of AJ Halsey's game. And I think some of his weaknesses, which, again, he doesn't have super high-end speed, which is why you shouldn't be playing him in man. He's a little smaller. So, again, like, you have to... And yeah, again, like tackling it because of his size, because of his speed, like he can struggle in certain circumstances. So, like, you do have to like put him in a situation that does protect him from some of his wilder streak and some of his weaknesses. But if you can do that, like I genuinely think he could be one of the best safeties in the NFL. I really do. So I love AJ Halsey. Okay. You know what? Let's just, while we're here, I got two more guys that are what I would call my guys. My guys. All right, next. Cassius Howe. Cassius Howe. I don't need to spend too much time on this. If you're familiar with Cassius Howe, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Look, I get it. The arms are short. The measurements are not amazing. I understand. Anybody who watched this guy play on tape knows this man is an ass kicker. This man is a menace. And I'm not saying you should draft him in the first round, but I'm saying if my team took him in the second round, I would probably be happy. And I understand people are hesitant. Go watch his tape. If you're hesitant, just go put on his tape, and you're going to go, okay, yeah, I see it. I see what I'm looking at. This guy is an ass kicker, as I said. So big fan of Cassius Howe. I think he's pretty locked in for the second round. But like as a pass rusher, I think he's awesome. Like I think he is very productive. He's very athletic. Yeah, I get it. Like he's gonna have some issues probably in terms of edge setting. He's again got shorter arms, so he is gonna get got a lot. But I think that's why you take him in the second round. Like you're not taking him to be a 1 necessarily. I think if Cassius Howe is your 2, good stuff. And he's got room to develop. Like he struggled a little bit on kind of that second move element of it. If he gets into the right system that can really coach him up, give him a little bit more complexity to his bag of tricks, and I think he can be a really, really, really solid player and starter in the NFL. And I think there'll be a lot of teams who would be happy to have him. So I got Cassius Howe as one of my guys. Again, not taking him in the first, but I just think if you get him in the second, I think you're very happy, and I think your defensive line is better for it. Okay, next. This guy might be my favorite. Maybe, I don't know. It changes every day. But Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. I am, real talk, I am confused about the conversation around Chris Johnson. He is another guy I genuinely think could end up being the best corner in this draft class. And the narrative around him, I don't understand it because I hear everybody talk about him. Everybody's like, yeah, I really like Chris Johnson. It's like, oh, what do you like about him? It's like, oh, well, you know, he's great at man coverage. He's great at zone coverage. He can play inside. He can play outside. He's really disciplined. He knows exactly how to use his hands. He can excel in press. He can excel off. He struggles a little bit in the run, but again, you know, I mean, corners are going to do that sometimes. But overall, he's very reliable. And it's like, well, what's your beef with him? It's like, well, he's not the most athletic. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. Oh, and then he goes and he tests at the combine, runs a great 40, tests all over the board really well, and it's like, oh, he's actually a rare athlete. Like he is actually an exceptional athlete who's also a well-rounded player and can do all these things very well. And it's like, so what do you think of him now? And they're like, second round. It's like, what? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why this guy's not considered like a unanimous first-round pick at corner. Like, I genuinely do not get it. I understand some people are skeptical, like, well, you know, he didn't play a lot of high-level competition, so how does he actually perform against NFL-level receivers on a daily basis consistently? And, like, if that is enough to knock him out of a round, like take a full round grade away from him, I can't really do anything about that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like watching this guy does everything well. He does everything well, and he is an exceptional athlete. I don't know what we're talking about here. I don't know what the confusion is on him. So I love Chris Johnson. It kind of makes me mad that like more people are not tuned into him because I genuinely think he could end up being one of the best, if not the best cornerbacks in this draft class. And like 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to look up and go, why did Chris Johnson fall? Like, what were we doing? We all knew he was really good. Why didn't we just take him? It's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you didn't take him. Anyway. All right. Got 3 more guys here. Wouldn't call them my guys, but just some guys that I've enjoyed learning about, and some guys that I think could make a real difference wherever they go. Kind of between late day 2 to maybe day 3 picks. First, Sam Roush, tight end. Sam Roush is like he's a dirty, dirty blocker. And Stanford tight end. Stanford is like, it's kind of one of those blind faith things where it's like, at Stanford tight end, like, he's probably going to be really good in the NFL, or at least just a solid quality starter. He's still, my understanding is, he's a little newer to football than a lot of tight ends, but like, I mean, it's some lists I'm seeing. I mean, this is a deep tight end class, and like, he's in the top 5 in a lot of lists. So, I mean, I think he could be really good, and he's a very good athlete. I've seen some tape on him, and I've really enjoyed watching him. He's a dirty blocker. I mean, he gets down and blocks. He still has some work to do on his pass catching. Granted, I feel like I see a lot of people say that. To be totally honest, I didn't feel like I saw that much in the tape. I thought he was a fine pass catcher in the tape. So, I trust people a little more who do this for a living than for me. Like, that was a concern they had. I didn't see it, though. I saw a guy who was a great blocker and a pretty decent pass catcher, and a really, really good athlete for the position. Would love to have. I think he will fit in as a tight end 2 on a lot of teams in the NFL. So I'm a big fan of Sam Roush. Also wanted to talk about Chris Brazzell. Controversial, maybe. I know a lot of people steer away from the Tennessee receivers just because they're just not really great examples. But, I mean, Chris Brazzell, man, he ran, a 4.37 at the Combine. He's like 6'4". I understand he's not a perfect, like, receiver. He's not super defined. He's not that great after the catch. Like, there is still some room to grow. He kind of has a hard time, like, high pointing the ball, like, jumps a little more than he probably should. Like, he's got some flaws. Like, I'm not trying to take him early, but like, if you can get a Chris Brazzell in like the 3rd round, I think some people have him going the 2nd round. I don't know if he'll go there, but like, if you can get him in the 3rd, I'd take a flyer on him. I'd take a flyer on him. He's just because of the physical traits that he has. And again, like, he played in an offense that is not going to utilize his skill set that well. So, it does make you wonder if he was in another system in college that really could develop him and utilize him. Like, how much better would he be? How much more valued would he be in this draft? I would take a flyer on him. Like, I really think he has the physical tools, and I think a lot of the gaps that he has, either A, I don't need him to do that. Like, I don't need every receiver to be I'm going to catch it and take it 60 yards. Like, if you could just like bully the guy and go catch a deep pass, like, that's fine with me too, even if you're not getting many yards afterwards. I don't need everybody to do that. And like, I think some of it is just technique, fundamentals. I think he can get that cleaned up at the next level. I don't worry about him. Like, a little bit of a project, I grant, and that's why I would probably not take him super early, but if he's around in the 3rd round, I would gladly take him. So, Chris Brazzell. And last but not least, Kyle Lewis, linebacker out of Pittsburgh. Look, Kyle Lewis is not going to be for everybody, okay? Totally get that. Totally understand that. All I know is when I watched him, he jumped off the screen. He was very productive. He has great instincts. He is a box score merchant, and I mean that in a good way. I think he played safety in high school and then went to linebacker. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody puts him back at safety. He's a little undersized, and I understand some people kind of feel like, don't really know what to do with him. But, I mean, again, he is very productive. I genuinely think you could, like, put him in, like, the nickel and help him cover, or you could also bring him down in that linebacker spot and just have him go and take care of business. He is just a productive, I think, well, all-around type of player. I think, again, everything I've read about him and just what I've kind of learned about what teams are prioritizing, there could be a number of teams that kind of stay away from him just because he's probably not going to really fit what they want to do. But in the right system, I think Kyle Lewis could be a quality starter. And I would love to see a team get him and turn him into something really special, because I think just he has so much versatility to him. And I'm not going to talk about them here, but there's a few players in this draft, especially at the linebacker position, that I feel like when I watched them, they weren't linebackers. Like, they were athletes, and they had linebacker next to their name, but they were not linebackers. They did not play like a linebacker, whether it was because they were kind of afraid to kind of get in the fray. They're just not very physical. I think Kyle Lewis is he has that, at minimum, like defensive in a football player mentality. So, I don't know where you put him. He's a little bit hard to gauge. All I know is he's very productive and he's fun to watch. He jumps off the screen, and I think somebody, the right defense gets their hands on him, you could see him do really well. So those are my players. Those are the guys that I love, the guys I'm keeping an eye out for, some guys I'm really staking my name to. Appreciate you listening, but let me know, who are you watching out for? Who's a sleeper that you think is not getting talked about enough? Who's a guy that you think is going to go probably in the second or third round that you think could even be a first-round talent? Where do you disagree with me? Where am I wrong? Who do you just think is so overrated on my list? Let me know. Appreciate you listening. Tune in Thursday to listen to Christian ask me questions about this draft and for me to give some maybe wild takes. I don't know. We'll have to see. But until next time, I love you. I cherish you. Appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. Talk about me at the water cooler. You know the drill. So anyway, take it easy. Bye.